I don't think he needs to change 10 players. What he needs is time so that he plays a system. This 3-4-2-1, which almost nobody plays. Most of his players aren't really suited or have to learn the system, have to adapt to this kind of system. There are some positions where he's going to have to either upgrade what's there or bring in a real specialist to play that position. But I think it's center forward, obviously. Maybe it's another midfielder. If you're not sure, Mainu can play alongside Ugarte in that role. And then we'll see if Dorgu works out on the other flank. But I think what's going to make this team go forward isn't so much the signings. And again, they need 3 of them at least, and they need to get those right. It's going to be Amorim having time to teach the players how to play this system. He cannot do it now because they're in cup competitions and they're basically playing every 3 days. They have no time at all on the training pitch.
Yeah, what about the money? Do they have the money to go out and get 10 players if they decide that Frank is right and you're wrong?
Well, obviously, that's the challenge, right? That's always the challenge. We see Jim Ratcliffe pleading poverty, and the way things are going, they're not going to have the Champions League money next year. So obviously, that's an issue. I mean, there are assets, I think, that they can shift. Garnacho is the obvious one because, look, he's a winger, and he's still on a very low wage, which I think makes it possible to shift him. Casemiro, I have no idea. I think the Saudi ship has sailed, and so beyond that, you have to get creative. But maybe Rashford sticks at Villa. That brings in some more money there. You overhauled your entire recruitment staff. You brought in Jason Wilcox and Barada, all these smartest guys in the room types, and let's see what they can do. But certainly, he'll have more tools, and again, most of all, he'll have time. I think the players he has now, many of them can fit his system. I mean, we see Amad Diallo fits his system. Lenny Yoro should fit his system. I think will fit his system eventually. Maybe a center back that can take the ball out into midfield the way Gonzalo Inacio did. Maybe that would be a better fit. Maybe you can get one or you don't. The goalkeeper fits his system. So I just don't. I think that's going to be the big leap forward. They will have to spend some money in the summer. They're going to have to be smart in how to do that. And I think come what may, they have to bring in another forward because I think they're realizing Xerxes is probably more of a number 10 than he is center forward.
Gab, I agree with you, and I really wish that Manchester United is going to get better and going to find the player. But now, when you're a football player and you have, you have some hopes in your career that you want to do better, you want to find another club. Will you go to Manchester United right now? Do you want to go? If you are a good player, we're not even talking about the top player. The problem is there. Nobody would like to go to Manchester United right now, even if Manchester United is one of the biggest clubs in the world.
Well, look, you're not going to sign Lamine Yamal, right? That's not happening. Yeah. But I think one level down from that, the idea that it's Manchester United, the idea that it's in the Premier League, but I also think it's important. Like, guys, they're still in it. They're still in the FA Cup. I'm assuming, I don't have the odds in front of me, but I'm assuming Man City are probably favorites for the FA Cup. And I would imagine United would be second favorites, maybe third favorites. So you have a shot there. You certainly have a shot in the Europa League. So between now and the end of the season, I'm not quite saying you should tank the Premier League, but use the Premier League to keep working on your system, to assess what you have, and really put all your focus in the Europa League and the FA Cup, and try to win those. And I think that can give you a big lift, and then see where you are in the summer. It's still Manchester United. Are you going to lose out on a player to Real Madrid? Of course you are. But do you have a chance against almost any other team out there? Of course you do.
Stevie, what do you make of what Gab says about the idea of time, right? The time to teach the system is
what Gab's talking about there seems like common sense, right? Mm-hmm. Well, I'm not saying you tank it, but you concentrate. Right now, Ruben Amorim is looking around to try and figure out how he can get another win. Not try and pick and choose where he's going to get his wins. It makes no difference who Manchester United play against. They don't seem to be able to control anybody or outplay anybody. So, on the face of it, concentrating on one thing and not the other would somehow seem like a decent idea. But unfortunately, Manchester United in the position they're in, and Ruben Amorim as well, is not in a position where he can pick and choose where he's going to try and win or not. Because regardless of the competition, regardless of the opposition, he has to go full bung. Otherwise, he's winning nothing. And I mean games, never mind trophies.
Last word.
Yeah, I don't understand why. I don't quite understand the point. If you go, what's the point of going full burn in the Premier League so you finish 11th?
Because you're so bad, you don't know where the next win's coming from. So you're just going to, are you going to turn out at Old Trafford in the Premier League where you've been losing week in and week out and just decide that I'm not going to really go for this and then get a shellacking at Old Trafford?
And then you just,
Gab, what you're doing
make sure
is
you're fresh for the Europa League and you're fresh for the FA Cup games.
Again, that
because
sounds
those are your
great.
chances of doing something.
But that sounds a great idea. But the problem is, this is a team that doesn't know where the next victory's coming from. So how can you turn around?
Hopefully in the Europa League. Hopefully in the FA Cup.
But hopefully, maybes. I mean, you've sat there and said maybe about 1,000 times. And then hopefully.
What's the alternative?
And the reason you're saying that is because nobody knows what Man United are going to do from one game to the next. So how can you possibly decide what game you're going to try and win or not? When at your best, you can lose to everybody.
It does seem a little bit optimistic to be picking a trophy to win for Manchester United at this point, but we never know what might happen in the coming months of the season.